This is where you receive guidance, experience self-love. This is how you heal your trauma and pain. This is how you fully process your feelings. And most importantly of all, this is how you move into the flow of the universe. We've all heard about the benefits of meditation. There are many scientific studies that talk about how regular meditation boosts immunity, reduces stress and anxiety, improves insomnia, regulates mood, and so much more. But I would say, aside from what science has to say about it, there's even deeper reason why you should meditate regularly. And that is because meditation quiets down the conscious mind, and that is where your ego lives. That's where your ego is speaking to you and controlling your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, is in the mind. And when that goes quiet and you actually can connect with your heart, this connects you to your higher self, your higher consciousness. That is your spirit who talks to you through the heart. And this is where you receive guidance, experience self-love. This is how you heal your trauma and pain. This is how you fully process your feelings. And most importantly of all, this is how you move into the flow of the universe. The universe is made of love and peace and joy. And when you are able to silence the ego chatter, you move yourself into this state as well. And this aligns you with the full power of the universe and attracts whatever you desire directly to you. So there are so many reasons why we should all be meditating, and we all know this already. And yet, we are built to resist meditation. None of us really feel inclined to do it, except for the ones who started doing it and discovered what it gave them. So how do we get over the hump of this resistance against meditation? The reason it's there is because the ego doesn't want you to discover the peace and self-love that happens with meditation. The ego's job is to keep you in a state of separation from source and the universe. You wanted to come here and have a physical experience, and that is what the ego is giving to you, a physical experience of separation. And so meditation is the escape hatch from that. Meditation is how you find your way back to your spirit self, and the ego is seeking to block you from this. But that doesn't mean that you have to give in to these impulses from the ego. That is your default programming, but you are capable of manually overriding that at any time. And so I thought I would take a minute to go by personality type and discuss what flavor of resistance that personality type offers against meditation and the shift in thinking that would benefit you and allow you to meditate much more easily and regularly. So let's take a look at the personality types now and their specific form of resistance to meditation. So the type 1 actually has less resistance than many of the other personality types against meditation because the ego programming for the type 1 involves doing the shoulds, doing what you should be doing. So if you've heard from a doctor or a therapist or another authority figure who you trust recommending meditation, chances are type 1, you've already begun doing that. Most of the other type 1s who are not meditating is simply because it hasn't come into their awareness yet of how important this could be for them. But actually type 1s, that personality type chatter in there, the ego chatter for the type 1 is very painful. It's very self-critical and kind of badgering on yourself and reduces your feeling of love for yourself and your feeling of love towards other people. And so I think you know already intuitively that getting out of the mind would be an enormous relief for you and would really help you feel better, feel more peaceful. So let me be another one who's recommending meditation to you and see if we can get you going, giving it a try, because I think you're really going to see almost immediately what it can do for you and how much happier you could feel in your life. The main thing to look for you, type 1, is that your meditation should probably be a heart-based meditation. And that is something that I'm offering. There is a meditation that I have created to go along with this video, which would help you move into a state of gratitude and love. And this really softens that rigid position that the type 1 survival programming can create for you. So making sure that you're connected to your feelings, to love and compassion is really important for you, type 1, to help you get the best out of the experience and really move you into the flow and into a sense of connection and love and peace. So type 2, the resistance to meditation for the type 2 is that really you're quite busy focusing on meeting other people's expectations and other people's needs. The ego programming for the type 2 is to put yourself last, to treat yourself as the absolute lowest priority. And so type 2s always express feeling guilt whenever they take time for just themselves. So we need to get rid of the guilt. We need to get rid of putting yourself last. The other thing that's going on for the type 2 is that the ego programming is pushing you away from self-awareness, away from checking in with yourself. And type 2s don't want to really go there because there is a lot of pain and anger and resentment in there, and that's not really something you want to know about or feel. So there is a lot of ego programming pushing you away from wanting to really know yourself and how you're doing. But of course, type 2, this is what it takes to move you into a healing state, to release the anger and the frustration. There is a way of eliminating the emotions that are holed up in there, that are suppressed. When you go in there and acknowledge the feelings, they clear. You fully process them and can release them. And this raises your vibration. This makes you feel much lighter in your body, much happier and freer in your life. And this would help you so much, type 2s, because your pattern includes a lot of pain, a lot of health issues and physical pain as a result of ignoring the sadness and frustration in your heart. So going there with meditation would help you clear this and would help you move into a much more healed state. While type 3s are perhaps the most resistant to meditation because they can't see the value in it and they don't want to make the time for it. If you ask any type 3 why they don't meditate, they will tell you that they don't have the time for that. You do have the time for that, type 3. And the guided meditation that I've created for you to go along with this video is 8 minutes, okay? It's under 10 minutes. You could easily do this twice a day without losing out on any productivity. But more importantly, I'd like to help you understand that this is enormous sabotage in telling yourself that you do not have time to meditate, because the meditation and that state that it holds you in is the most attracting state. So when you are not making time to become a magnetic attractor, you are committing yourself to working much harder than you actually need to accomplish your goals. If you would take the time to sit in a state of peace and love and gratitude just for a few minutes a day, this would make you a powerful manifester of your desires, meaning that it moves you into the flow of the universe where everything comes to you. So instead of you having to go out there and make it happen, meditation helps you call what you want to you. It makes your life magically easier. You would actually accomplish what you are hoping to accomplish faster and easier if you would make the time for meditation every day. Type 4s, your resistance to meditation has much to do with your resistance to structure. Your personality type does not want to be committed to regular practice because the type 4 programming allows for the mood to drive everything. So you have to be in the right mood for meditation. And guess what? When the ego's in charge, that doesn't happen very often. When the ego is in charge of your thinking, type 4, you are in a state of sadness and disappointment and melancholy quite a lot of the time. This is so destructive to your health and your quality of life. You cannot let that be in charge. Instead, I encourage you to think of your daily meditation practice as your anchor, the thing that stabilizes you and roots you and makes you feel centered. The practice of meditation is actually a high point in your day. It would kind of spread sunshine in all directions. If you made the time to get into a state of gratitude and self-love, this would empower you. This brings you such higher energy and motivation. It would move you out of that sad state into a much more empowered and optimistic state. Letting this be a compass for you would improve your quality of life enormously. The type 5 resistance to meditation has much to do with that not acknowledging the body. The type 5 is so mental and trying to just be a mind without a body that perhaps you don't realize that you're carrying stress or depression or anxiety in your body. So perhaps you aren't noticing that you could benefit from this. On the other hand, the ego programming for the type 5 actually makes you want to learn how to wield energy, how to become more powerful with your energy. And meditation directly does this for you. However, it's extremely important for you, type 5, to make sure that you are doing a heart-based meditation, something that takes you completely out of the mind and into the heart. You do need to connect with feelings of love, feelings of gratitude, feelings of appreciation. This is generally lacking for the type 5 with that mental preoccupation. The heart is generally quite closed. And this blocks you from compassion and from the higher vibration emotions. So opening yourself up to feeling high vibration feelings would bring you the power you are attracted to wielding. Well, type 6, eventually you are going to find your way to meditation. Most type 6s resist it for a long time, but that type 6 ego programming keeps you in a state of despair, keeps you in a state of fear and anxiety and negative expectation and pessimism most of the time. And it's such a miserable state to be in that eventually type 6s do find their way to meditation because of how much peace it brings you. It is such a relief to get out of the mind and into the heart where there is peace and love and trust and knowingness in there for you. That's where your intuition lives. Type 6s are also a head type and not really in tune with their intuition. They're afraid to trust their intuition. But intuition is your higher self speaking to you. That is the guidance that would benefit you greatly and reduce your sense of fear and anxiety if you knew that you could really trust that. So you have to practice every day getting into the heart and getting out of the mind. Let yourself feel peace. Let yourself hear the intuition and guidance that you're receiving in the heart. This would dramatically transform your quality of life and bring you so much peace and stability. Type 7s, it is almost laughable how hard you resist meditation. On the one hand, 7s, there are many type 7s in the health and wellness field. They're very into being a cheerleader and helping others feel happy, but at the same time, they completely resist holding still and going inward. And the reason for that is because your ego programming is all about resisting feeling pain. And you have a knee-jerk resistance to going into the heart because you know that there is pain and anger and other unpleasant feelings in there, and you're trying not to feel those. The type 7 survival belief is that pain could destroy you. And so your ego is tricking you into thinking that whenever you quiet down and go inward, you're going to feel pain. Actually, my love, going inward and holding still is what releases the pain. It raises your vibration into such a state of happiness and joy that it clears out a lot of the low and heavy vibration emotions that are in there. You would actually feel so elevated and joyful and peaceful if you were willing to make the time to meditate. Now, many type 7s say, oh no, I have ADHD and that's not possible. Well, my loves, your ADHD is very much related to anxiety and the fear of going inward. If you actually overrode that and gave yourself a minute to go in and quiet down, you would immediately see that you can stick with it. This video that I have created for you, the guided meditation, is under 8 minutes. And so that is a brief enough experience of time to get the benefit, but not make you feel too antsy, and you should be able to stick with it and quickly see the benefits of it. Type 8s would argue also that they don't have the time for meditation, and also the ego programming for the type 8 has them feeling powerful already. You believe in your own strength and your ability to overcome hardship. And in fact, you kind of like pushing yourself through overcoming hardship. And so you don't really see the benefit in slowing down, getting quiet, and going inward. You think you've got it all together already. Well, I can tell you as a health practitioner, that's utterly untrue. I deal with some pretty serious health consequences of this attitude for the type 8 all the time. And I can tell you that you're burning yourself out very much by not slowing down and finding some peace and joy. Type 8s are all about feeling strong and pushing hard and going long. And that is not benefiting you in any way. You do need to quiet down that nervous system. Also, this connects you to your heart. Type 8s are notoriously disconnected from the heart, not feeling their feelings, not feeling that compassion. And that is so necessary for your purpose. If you want to move into being a powerful leader, you absolutely do need to know how to connect with people through love and respect and compassion. So taking a little time to practice this every day is essential for you to step into your highest purpose. Now, the type 9s are open to meditation because type 9s love that sense of peace that they get. So they're perhaps the least resistant. However, type 9s, with you, we need to be careful not to let it go too long, because type 9s, in their desire to be peaceful, but also that ego wiring to avoid conflict, many type 9s can use meditation as escapism. They just hide out in there. They say, oh no, I'm meditating for 4 hours and I'm being so good to myself, and that's why I can't deal with these important issues that I really should be dealing with today. So we don't want to allow regular meditation to be too long for you, type 9s. You have the opposite issue as everybody else. Instead of resisting meditation, you're in it too long because you're resisting action. So we need to help you find that peace, find that inner strength, find that sense of knowingness that comes from meditation, and then take it out into the world and apply it. For you, type 9, we want to use the benefits that come from meditation to empower you to step into forthright action. I hope that I've made an argument for getting you guys meditating. It is so important. It is essential to connecting to your higher self and becoming the real you. The programmed you, your ego, is not your friend. It's not helping you have the quality of life that you want. Meditation is the escape hatch out of the survival programming and into something much more vital and thriving. your vitality personality. I've created a very brief and beautiful guided meditation for you that takes you out of the mind and into the heart. It helps you feel gratitude and self-love, which raises your vibration and makes you very powerful very quickly. I'm excited for you to give it a try and see what you think. To take the free personality type quiz, join the membership, get the book, or schedule a private guidance session, get everything you need at yourvitalitypersonality.com.